Well, we are coming to you from my old bathroom and be using the Nacet. We're at a slight different angle. You're not used to seeing me from this angle. Usually you get a nice picture of the door and the towel hanging from there. The Nacet is on use, hey, 321 today, so magic number. As usual this month, we've got the Semogue Owners Club, and it's the Taj handle. The Vetiver scent of Martin de Candre. The special edition Fatip Piccolo is the handle. Open comb is the base plate. The balm is Soap Commander Integrity Unscented, which that's what Integrity is. And then it's the menthol-free variant of that. So we've got 300 plus 20 dots for the blade usage. And the reason the angles are different is because for such a long time, right over there is where I mounted the camera, because there's a towel bar right there. I had an extended battery on the back of my phone, and then I had a big guard protector on that. And so it was a very thick object, quite a brick. And so it sat very conveniently on that towel bar right there. Well, my new camera is different. And both at my other location and here, it doesn't really sit all that well by itself. And so I bought a suction cup mount gizmo. And so now I can use that at this location too. So, different angle. Now, let's think about our load with Martin de Candre, because I've got some good news for all you MdC fans. But first, before we talk about that, I want to put this brush, I want it to soak. This is how it looks. It is narrower than what you see at the end of each shave, and that's because it's been in a travel tube. And those travel tubes tend to kind of gather up the bristles a little bit, make it neater, but rest assured, if you like that big splay, it's not gone at all. It will return at the end of the shave as usual. All right, so the good news I spoke of is that I weighed the soap before tonight's shave. I plugged it into my computer. I divided out the number of shaves I've done so far in August, the weight at the beginning of August, and I did some subtraction, and that has a change in weight of an average use is 0.8 grams per shave. Now that's a lot. With sterling, I only use about 0.4 grams per shave. Chiseled face, about 0.5 grams, it seems. Well, if you've been following this series, you know that those first several shaves, maybe even the first 2 weeks, had me dialing it in and gradually reducing the load time. And so those earlier shaves were heavy loads. So that's going to throw off the metric, the average. So if you back up to when I roughly started doing counting swirls on the order of 13 swirls or 12 or 10, if you back it up to that point and you count the last 6 shaves, I've only used 2 grams of soap. Now that's a small sample. It shouldn't be treated as accurate, but it gives hope, because previous, the only measure was looking at about 0.5 if I only counted that last group. But I've kept with just the 12 swirl thing now for the last few shaves. We're really honing in on a good economical load time for this soap. And it's making a difference now that we can see how the weight of the soap is slowly losing ground now. And so it looks like with the 6 shaves and 2 grams lost of soap weight, obviously, we're looking at a 0.33 or 1/3 of a gram use per shave. Now that puts it ahead of sterling. If my memory serves, the calculations I did just a minute ago, that looks like almost 20 months of uses for the price. And then if you divide that out with $70, which is the US price, $70 to get a tub of MdC to your door from France, then you're looking at $3.50 per month. Now that's still pretty inexpensive. And of course, this is for a person who's using a bowl to lather, lathering like I do and only using 0.33 grams of soap per shave. A lot of people triple my usage because they have to overload because they're face latherers and that sort of thing. So this is only for kind of bowl lathers who are able to conserve that soap. This is the kind of usage you could expect from MdC. And of course, as we put more days in with this kind of more economical setting, then that 0.33, that's going to get more accurate and more accurate. Maybe it'll stay the same, maybe it'll change, but it will get more accurate as the time goes on. So why don't we try today with an 11 swirl load, because my last two 12 swirl loads, I'm so used to saying seconds, my last two 12 swirl loads produced more lather than I really needed, even when you account for my normal margin preference. So let's try 11. Now, it doesn't mean that MdC, I haven't gained any more respect for it in the sense of it's a higher performance lather. It's not quite as good as a whole lot of lathers out there. I mean, just about any of the ones you've seen me use on my channel, I enjoy more. But if it looks like it might be a good one, and also it might be a good one if you like the scents, you like it being, if you like your soap being essential oils only, then that might make it a good one. If you happen to just love the scent, then obviously it might be a good choice for you. What if you're in the EU? What if you're in Europe and you can get it for 40 to 45 euros? Okay, if you could get it, let's see if we can do some math in our heads. If you could get it for 40 euros, that might be about 50 bucks or something like that. Because of the change rate or something. If we assume it's $50, then let's see. Then that is $2.50 per month. That's US dollars. I guess with euros it would be easy. That'd be €2 a month with 40 euros cost, 20 months of usage. So there you go, $2 a month. €2 a month. With the exchange rate, maybe $2.50 per month. And that really makes it a budget soap. So I think one thing I've learned in this month is, and I'm sure that this low usage here is going to bear out. You can use it, if you use it kind of like I do, at the rate I do, then it's a budget soap by the time you measure out how many uses you get for it. And that was kind of what I was wondering when I started this whole month. All right, I have learned that I also don't like the performance nearly as much as I thought I did, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, good. We've had our brush be able to load up. I traveled, and so I'd have my blade not in my razor. I put it in its travel sleeve, and so we can show it to you. There's the 3 dots there, and there's that curve that I picked up on use 225. And so how we're going to load this guy, we're just going to drop him flat, drop this flat, and most of the time this will give me properly aligned blade. I have reports from some viewers where they have no alignment issues at all. They just slap the blade in there. Hi guys, I'm sorry about the lights kind of coming on and off. I know that the background behind me is kind of dark, and so if I put something really bright up there in the screen, then my face gets dark, and then if I take it away, my face gets light. It's just kind of the normal. Oh, you know what maybe I could do? What if I put the metering, if I put metering right there, then maybe it won't change quite so much. Let's see what happens if I do that. Spot metering for you photography fans. And as I review, okay, it looks like, oh, I could shave with that, but it's just a hair off, and now it's fixed. There we go. Not too bad at all. Okay. There we go. Surface of our soap. Don't know if that did you any good. So 11 swirls this time. I've got my bowl. I've got everything else ready. Let me splash my face with some water. All right, let's do it. As usual, I'm going to shake out much of the water. 11 swirls. 1. I have been totally amazed at how little soap appears on the brush, but turns into a good lather. And it does make sense that as I dial it down, that my usage starts to get more conservative than sterling, for instance, because, and I was talking about this online in the comments with some of you guys, I think, how sterling is a softer soap. So how could a harder soap like MdC require just as much product? And it turns out, you know, and I did voice when I was saying that I was using 0.5 grams per shave of the MdC, that was just a preliminary figure based on just a few data points. I was just then starting to get into to really be able to zone in on the proper amount for MdC, and so I just wanted to give some preliminary figures. And so we do have a lather going on here. It's very dry right now, and maybe 2 teaspoons is all I need in here. We'll put 1 in. "24 hours between my last shave and this one, roughly. Not a lot of lather here in the bowl. I don't want to overwater it. Let's just put in a half, so 1.5 teaspoons. Let's use this and just see how many passes we're able to get. It doesn't look like a ton, but it might be what I need. And water on my face again. All right. Looks like we've got a good concentrate on here. I was going to take some of those big blobs off before they fall onto my shirt. Do that again. And I might add a few drops of water to the brush. So pretty much 2 teaspoons at this point for the lather in terms of water usage. And if we want to make sure we have some lather at the end, I'll go ahead and extract that little bit right there because it'll just go to waste. All right, use 321. Little tuggy, but not a big deal at all, not painful at all. Keeping everything pretty with the grain since it's a bit on the tuggy side. It helps it not to be actually, rough. Now a rinse. All right, so oh, I didn't rinse yet. Actually, I did. I'm going crazy. All right, so let us grab up some of this nice lather, and yep, it definitely does look like I'm going to have plenty for the job. 11 may be the magic number. If you have a softer brush than this, like a silver tip badger, a soft silver tip badger, most of them are. A few of them aren't. You might have to load more. It's a softer brush. Still kind of sticking with a little bit of cross grain like on my cheeks, but on my neck I mainly just kept with the grain pass right there. That's just kind of the way my skin was feeling. And the third pass. And yeah, I've got extra left over. That's pretty much a perfect amount left over. So maybe I'll try 11 swirls for a few days and see how that equalizes, because sometimes the water that you bring into it might change, or something like that. So like I think I tried 11 early on, or 10, and it was just really skimpy. It wasn't like this at all. Notice I am very careful about my neck rolls here, my creases. I always try to move across them at a slant so that, like, here's the crease. See my blade, I try never to have my blade parallel with the crease. I like to try to have it slanted, that way it won't dip down in and then gouge me a little bit too much. And if I feel like I've got a little extra lather here, so if I feel like doing a little bit of extra tweak work right there, then I can. And now rinse. All right, guys, so now we will put on the balm. I do have a little tenderness down here for some reason. I think maybe I had a bit of a lapse in technique for a second there. No nick, it seems, no weeper or anything, but could have just been the wrong angle or something like that. Not paying attention to the grain of the hair. Sometimes what gets me on my neck. And there we go. There we go, folks. And like I showed you, a couple of passes here, still left in the bowl. Happy with that. Zoning in perhaps on an economical, perfect load where, as you can see, I've got a good lather. I'm not being skimpy. I've got, it looks nice on my face. It's not super thin or anything like that. And there was just 11 swirls on the soap. So I don't consider it kind of a harsh or self-depriving thing because you can see all the lather that I'm getting. Plenty. And now I'm going to clean up. To that first pass, or maybe the second, I can't remember which, I did add that last half a teaspoon of water. So the total usage was 2 teaspoons for the 11 swirls. And here we are after the shave with the Owner's Club. I stropped it on the towel and just kind of spread it out with my fingers a little bit just to make sure that it has plenty of room to air dry. And always make sure you clean the soap out from the middle of the knot there, especially with the animal hair brushes, because the alkalinity, I believe it is, something chemical in the soap, if it's left in there, can eat away and break the fibers loose and cause it to start to be a shedder. You don't want that. All right, well, that is it, guys. Good shave, good shave. That tenderness over here is gone. Balm took care of it. It wasn't very much to begin with. And so I believe that's the 19th shave. We are just a day away from pretty much being 2/3 of the way through the month. And now it seems like time is just flying by. Just 10 more days to play around with MdC. Okay, a few more than 10. But I'm really enjoying it. I'll miss it when it's gone. I won't miss the scent. But I've started to play around with having a scent on me before I start so that there's some interest there instead of just the Vetiver, or putting on an extra spray of cologne or something when I get back to my office. You know, that sort of thing is helping me to not quite be in a rut about the scent. But there we go. 321 uses on the Nacet. It just keeps on trucking. I got a pretty close shave on my neck, and that's really where the tail will be told with the closeness. I think we're good. There we go. Another one in the books. Hey, you guys take care out there. COVID is still a thing, and pray for you and your loved ones and your friends, and that you'll be all right. I guess for most people, staying away from public areas and staying inside is still probably the best advice, right? Hopefully we can get through this maybe in the next several months, and it'll be just something in the past, and get a good cure, a good vaccination out there. And hopefully the people that have been affected by it already just it won't take a toll on their body, and they'll be able to recover. All right, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You guys take care. Good night.